You've probably already decided you'll start after you finish watching this. That's not a plan. That's the same lie you told yourself yesterday, wearing today's date. Everyone tells you procrastination is a time management problem. It's not. If it were, a better calendar would have fixed you years ago. You've downloaded the apps, you've made the schedules, color-coded and everything. You still didn't start. Here's what's actually happening. Procrastination isn't about the task, it's about the feeling the task creates in you right now. The boredom, the doubt, the fear that you'll try and it won't be good enough. And your brain has one job in that moment: make the bad feeling go away. Immediately. Not later, now. So it reaches for anything that removes the feeling faster than doing the task would. Checking your phone removes it in 3 seconds. Cleaning your desk removes it in 10 minutes and even feels productive while it's happening. Starting the actual work? That might not remove the feeling for hours, if it ever fully does. You're not choosing laziness over productivity. You're choosing a fast emotional exit over a slow, uncertain one. Every single time. And it works, in the short term, which is exactly why it keeps happening. The relief is real. It's just borrowed from a version of you who's going to have to pay it back later, usually with interest, at 11 at night, or the evening before it's due, in a version of the work that's worse than what you were actually capable of. And there's a second reason this keeps happening, and it's a strange one. When you imagine the person who actually has to do this task, tonight, tomorrow, in 3 weeks, some part of your brain treats that person almost like a stranger. Not literally you, just someone else who happens to share your name and who will have to deal with whatever you don't deal with today. That's why it's so easy to hand this off. You wouldn't dump your worst, most stressful task onto a close friend without a second thought. But you do it to future you constantly, without even noticing, because future you doesn't feel real yet. He's not sitting across from you making a face about it. He's abstract, theoretical, easy to ignore. Present you gets the relief. Future you gets the deadline, the all-nighter, the rushed version of the work that could have been good. And the worst part is, when future you finally arrives, exhausted and behind, he doesn't even get to be angry at anyone else, just at the version of you sitting here right now who had the time and spent it on anything else. If you actually pictured that person clearly, you, 3 days from now, at midnight, doing this same task at half your ability because you're exhausted and out of time, you'd probably stop watching this and go start right now. That's not a coincidence. That's exactly the gap procrastination lives in. The distance between a future that feels real and one that doesn't yet. And here's what that borrowing actually costs, because it never feels like a cost in the moment. It feels like relief. Somewhere, right now, someone is doing the exact task you've been putting off for 3 weeks, not because they wanted to do it more than you did, but because they stopped negotiating with the feeling and just started anyway. You've had the idea for months, they had it for days, and it's already half built. You're waiting for the version of yourself that feels ready, confident, in the mood. They stopped waiting for that person because they figured out that person only shows up after you start, never before. None of that is discipline you were born without. It's the accumulated weight of every "I'll do it after this," every "I work better under pressure anyway," every deadline you technically hit while quietly knowing the work could have been better with the 3 extra weeks you spent avoiding it instead of doing it. And it compounds in a direction you don't notice until much later. Every task you delay doesn't just sit there waiting, patient and unchanged. It grows a little heavier the longer it waits, because now it's not just the task, it's the task plus the guilt of not having started, plus the growing evidence you've collected against yourself that you're someone who doesn't follow through. That's the part that actually hurts, not the work itself. The story you're quietly building about what kind of person keeps doing this to themselves.
There's a difference between one day and day one.
And it's the exact difference between the life you're describing to people and the life you're actually living. One day costs nothing to say. It's comfortable. It doesn't require you to be bad at something in public or to find out the idea wasn't as good as it sounded in your head. One day can live in your mind forever, untouched and perfect, because you never actually tested against anything real. Day one costs something immediately. It means starting today, at whatever skill level you actually have right now, not the one you'll have in 6 months. It means the first version being rough, maybe even a little embarrassing, but it's the only version of that sentence that has an ending. You've been saying one day for so long that it started to feel like a plan. It was never a plan. It was a place to hide with better branding. And the frustrating part is, you already know this. You've felt the difference before, even if just once. That one time you actually started something the same hour you thought of it, instead of scheduling the thought for later. Remember how that felt? Not confident necessarily, not even ready, just in motion, which turned out to matter more than readiness ever did. You have proof, somewhere in your own history, that day one works better than one day. You've just been ignoring your own evidence. So let me ask you honestly, how many times this month did you say, "I'll start Monday," and then start nothing on Monday either? How many times did you research the task instead of doing it and quietly call the research progress? How many times did you wait to feel motivated when you already knew motivation was never going to show up before the work did, only after? How many times did you tell yourself the timing was wrong, when the real truth was you were scared to find out what happens if the timing was right and you still didn't deliver? And how many times did you watch a video exactly like this one, felt something shift for about 10 minutes, and then let the feeling fade without changing a single thing about tomorrow? You don't need to answer out loud. You already know the number. And you already know it's higher than you're comfortable admitting to anyone, including yourself. I'm not going to give you a productivity system. You've tried those. Some of them even worked for 11 days, and then you were right back here, watching another video instead of doing the thing. Here's why those systems keep failing you, and it's not because you did them wrong. Every productivity system assumes the problem is organization. Yours was never organization. You know exactly what needs to happen. You could write the list right now in order without help. The system was never missing. The first move was. What actually breaks procrastination isn't a system. It's shrinking the gap between deciding and starting until there's no room left for the feeling to talk you out of it. Not, "I'll start the project." Just, "I'll open the document right now before I do anything else and type one bad sentence." That's it. That's the entire ask. Because the version of the task in your head, the whole big finished version, was never actually the thing stopping you. It was too big to start, so your brain never even tried. The way through was never the whole task. It was one small, ugly, honest beginning. Small enough that the fear can't find a foothold in it. You've probably already decided you'll start after you finish watching this. Here's your chance to prove that wrong, just this once. Not one day, day one. Right now, before you close this tab. I'll see you in the next one.